Hey, welcome to the most anticipated video of competition series, and that is how to win competitions. So there has been several tricks that I've talked so far, and for those who don't know, you might be wondering, why should I be listening to you? Like, what do you know about architecture competitions? So here's my track record. So far, I've won almost 20 competitions, winning almost $24,000 in prize cash, $250,000 in various contract values. Also, I had the chance to travel and give lectures all around the world on fully paid trips. So if this is something that you want to do, make sure to hit that subscribe button and watch this video till the end so that I can tell you all about my juicy tips and tricks that allow me to land this level of success with competitions. Are you ready? Let's dive right into it. So all these tips and tricks that I'm going to be giving you is coming under the assumption that you are doing a decent level of design and you have what it takes to create beautiful graphics, but you're still not getting a good results that you're expecting. Then here are some of the tips and tricks that might help you out. Number one rule that I stress over and over is choose your competition wisely. You should do as much research as possible before you put your foot down and commit to it. And I made a whole video about this, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already. So moving onwards, let's talk about the rule number 2, and that is to over-deliver. I know as students, we are always out of time and out of effort to kind of like make something really shine. But it's really that little bit more effort that you put in that makes all the difference. So what I ask you to do is look at the competition requirements and list them all out. So that can be like, plan, section, elevation, and at a certain scale, and maybe there's like animation delivery or whatever, but try doubling that. You don't have to hit it, but your target has to be higher than what they're asking for. So think about it, there is 100 or thousands of people entering this competition that you're entering, and they're all looking at the same brief, and they're all going to write down the competition requirements. So what's going to happen is, in the end, we're all going to have something really similar. If you've seen same level of completion and amount of like brownie points going into every competition entries, and there's one entry that just has like double the amount of work that the other guys have put into, you have no choice but to put that into like your at least top 10 consideration. Like just by doubling the production amount and keeping up that production quality, you're automatically entered to go into the honorable mention. This is a simple psychology. This is something that you will learn from school when you're doing critiquing other people's work. You can clearly tell which work stands out and which one doesn't. And this is really the same for competition. The rule number 3 is to observe previous winners. I've mentioned this in my previous video about choosing the competitions. Look at the winners carefully and look at the tendencies of those winners. Every competition has slightly different personalities, their juries are a little bit different from another one, and they're looking for a certain style sometimes. For example, if you look at Evolo, obviously they're all super tall buildings, but they have quite a specific kind of format that winners follow. And that is starting with a big overall image on the left side, and then moving on to medium level description, and then the most micro detail on the right side. Some competitions are into super cheery, family friendly kind of entries and visualizations. Other times they're just looking into super stark concrete blocks that only architects would really enjoy living in. So make sure to kind of understand the personality of each competition and try to like really get into the psyches of who is organizing and judging the competition. And that segues us into next point, and that is research the juries. This is something that a lot of people think about but don't quite know what to make out of all the juries. Competitions usually announce their juries in advance, so you have some time to research them before you start your production. Here's a very specific example that I've witnessed. So one competition that we entered in Japan, where the key jury was So Fujimoto. So with that being said, maybe I shouldn't have put too much effort into creating realistic rendering. And the winner simply had this one mega drawing that was beautifully illustrated in lines and communicating the concept in like a very minimal architecture instead of what we had, which was like a complicated maximalist entry. So knowing that So Fujimoto was the leading judge, the key jury, then maybe we should have gone for something more minimal and lighthearted. So that's an example if you are unable to understand the jury's personality and intentions, and use that to your advantage when you're entering your competition. And number 5 is to enter as many competitions as possible. Competitions is sometimes just totally up to luck, and a part of it will never be in your control. So in order to maximize your chance of winning, you simply have to enter as many as possible. I said I've won almost 20 competitions, but here's a secret. I've probably entered almost 50 or 60 competitions. With all the tips and tricks I've mentioned so far in this whole playlist, I'm probably maximizing my chances of winning. I have a win rate of almost 30%, which I'm pretty proud of. So with that being said, don't be discouraged if you lose that competition. Try to enter more and balance out how much you're putting down in terms of your commitment. Just keep going with it. Find the ones you really enjoy working on. Just think of it as like a side project that you're always doing. Don't kill yourself over it. Just do it at like a leisurely pace that you can continuously work on, one after another, and eventually you'll find yourself with a stack of winning entries. Another really cool trick is to enter multiple competitions with the same entry. If you look closely, going through the competition aggregation websites, you'll see that there are similar competitions. And this is your opportunity to enter that work, that project that you made for school or for another competition into this new competition. Sometimes you might have to adapt a couple of things to meet the production requirement, but overall it allows you to save so much time, yet maximize your production quality over time. Some people might feel a little bit uncomfortable about this, but I've seen cases where same entries won like first place in this competition and won like honorable mention or third place in the other. So this is not completely unprecedented. I'm sure a lot of people are doing it, but we only get to see a fraction of that, multiple winners. But it's totally up to you and something that I wanted to let you know. And so that concludes my favorite tips and tricks for winning competitions and how I got to where I am today. So if you want to learn more about landing a successful career in architecture, I encourage you to check out our Starchitects Bootcamp. It's a 4-week program with a condensed list of my favorite tips and tricks that I think architecture students must know, but for some reason schools don't teach you. And that includes subjects like how to get a job, how to design your portfolio, doing project management, and even running your own business. So if you're curious about that, you can check it out on our website, and I'll see you in the next video.